Hi, everybody. Welcome to this live session. We're really happy to be here and answer questions and just connect in with you. This is really lovely to be here with you.
We've had so much wonderful feedback about the course, and we're really pleased about that. You finished 7 sessions now, and you've recently studied the aura, and we're open to a whole wide range of questions. And Don, why don't you start with the first one?
Okay, this is from Michael. From energy medicine perspective, is there a specific reason for breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth? Can I use nose only or mouth only for in and out breath? Also, why should we take big breaths when we do energy medicine activities? First of all, there are many wonderful ways to breathe, and yoga uses different breaths. The reason why you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth is because when you do, you connect up central meridian that runs up the front of your body and governing meridian that runs up your spine, over your head, over your nose, and then it connects at the back of your throat. So if you breathe in through your nose, your tongue goes to the roof of your mouth, and when you breathe out, it goes down and it makes that connection. So suddenly you once they've connected, you've got a microcosmic orbit that goes around your body. It will go both ways, and you're just more protected. You're more connected up, energetically wise. Everything works better. And that's why I really like people doing these exercises with that kind of a breath.
The microcosmic orbit is really emphasized in Taoist tradition and tantric, and it is a energy that goes through, and it's very much very central to your entire energy system. So this particular way of breathing is a way that you're continually reinforcing that with
Yeah.
everything else that you do. And it's not the only way to breathe in energy medicine, but it's the way that Donna suggests is an excellent way to breathe. If it feels better to breathe only through your nose or only through your mouth, that's fine. And the reason for bigger breaths or being real conscious breathing is that it gives your body more oxygen as you're moving the energies.
Yes. And you're building habits. You're building habits. So the more you can breathe into your nose and out through your mouth, the more you will attain that habit. Okay? So that then you will have that microcosmic orbit going around you without you always doing the exercise. Okay. From Logan, with the zip up and hook up, do we do it only once at the end of the energy routine, or do we have to do it more than once? Ah, there is no absolute on this, by the way. It's a good thing to do at the end because it takes all of the different energy techniques you have done and have made it into a real flow. And then by zipping up at the end and connecting, you've got that orbit at the end. But I know people who start with those exercises.
And they're not just for the daily routine. They're something
Yes.
zipping up is something athletes do that all the time. They'll that are have learned our work. They will zip
Yeah.
up. They'll work their K27 right there on the field or on the court. So these are not things that have to be done in an orderly way as part of the daily routine. They're tools that
Can,
just quick fixes.
yes, they can be separate. Like when I get up in the morning, I will hook up real fast. I'll just hook up so that I know that orbit is going around my body and it makes everything else work better. Okay? Okay. All right, this is from Brenda. Brenda, are you able to use energy medicine over distance? And if so, does it work without the person's knowledge? Yes, you can use energy medicine over distance, and using it without the person's knowledge, it's really interesting. If they are very filled up with a lot going on in their life, they may not be able to be receptive to you. That is why, I mean, it seems to work better if they know, but it still can work. It may work better. However, um,
And it's a very large question because that our concepts, our Western concepts of space and time don't allow that, don't allow you to work from a distance with energies. As you start to understand subtle energies, which are energies that are different from the electromagnetic spectrum and different from the weak and strong magnetic forces or atomic forces, and different from gravity, which are the four forces known in physics. Subtle energy is a fifth force, and it has different properties. And one of the properties is the quantum mechanics property of non-locality, where it is where something that happens over here can affect something over there. So that's a very odd concept. Yet we see we see evidence of it in many different parts of our lives. There's been a lot of experiments that demonstrate that the mind can actually impact physical objects from a distance. And so you first of all have to understand that. Then assuming that, and it's not so different from praying for someone. And a lot of people use prayer as a way to send very positive intentions and love to other people. Now, whether or not you can do it without the other person's awareness, that also gets into an ethical issue. Um, is it ethical for me to try to influence the energies of a person that doesn't know that I'm doing it? Say that, like one case that we've had is a husband who didn't believe this at all, energy work, but whose wife very much believed it and but he thought it was just total woo-woo, and she wanted to send him really healing energy about a health condition he had, and she was concerned that if she told him she was doing it, he would just really just tighten up against that because it was just sounds so ridiculous to him. But so that's where the ethical issue is. Is it ethical for her to send that energy to him more or less against his will? And we'll not try to answer that for you, but we'll say, is it ethical for her to pray for him? There's similar kinds of questions. So but it's a very big question that you're asking, and I hope that was somewhat clear.
Okay.
Now, we also want to talk a little bit about questions that ask about specific health conditions, because there were about 40 different health conditions that were asked about in the advanced questions. And that gives us an opportunity to explain a very important principle where energy medicine differs from conventional medicine. And that is that when you are working with the body's energies, that is your focus. You're focusing on where the energy is blocked, where are they deficient, where are they overcharged, where are they out of harmony with the other energies in the body. That's what we work with. That's what the energy testing is able to get at, and that is what the techniques do. Now, what's the relationship of that to physical illnesses and physical challenges? There's a great relationship, but unlike Western medicine, that's not where we focus. We don't diagnose illness. What we can do is to use the knowledge about the illness to tell us where to focus. So if the illness is in the kidneys, you would look at kidney meridian, for instance. So there's a definite relationship between what's going on in the energies and what's going on in the person's physical body. But the attention and what we really want you to learn is how to work with the body's energies, and it's very secondary in the sense that when you balance the body's energies, there are positive effects, and those positive effects may be healing of an illness, may be increased energy, increased mental acuity, better mood, but that's not what we aim for. We aim for getting the energies into harmony and balance. And then whatever additional benefits that has, that's great. And there often are many, but that's not, in terms of where we're looking, it's at the energies.
This is from Deborah. I understand that the zip up helps to keep us from taking on other people's negative energies. Will it help after we have taken on someone's negative energies? If not, what should we do to restore our positive self and energies? Well, if you've already taken it on, I would blow it out. And I think you've had that. I think you've had that in the exercises of literally swinging your arms above your head and blowing it out down the front of your body and opening your hands at the bottom.
And sending it into the earth, sending the
Yes.
energy into the earth.
And do that 3 or 4 times, and then the last one just zip up. Suddenly you've cleared out their energy, and then you protect yourself at the end.
And there's other ways also to clear energy. After Donna would do a session that she picked up someone's energies, she would put her hands underneath cold water. She just run the sink. So there's a variety of ways. One of Donna's other favorites is connecting heaven and earth. It's a way
Yes.
to really stretch your body and get the energies moving and get them to go out your hands and into the ground. But the blowout is our favorite. It's the place to start. And then once you've cleared yourself, that's when you want to do the zip up.
Okay. All right. This is from Robin. How do I handle a deep energy disparity with my partner? I almost can't be in the same room with him. Either his energy aura is getting worse, or mine better, or both, but it's nearly impossible. I feel deeply incompatible with him, yet can't find the power to leave, if that were an option. Hmm. Um, that is a huge question. Um, I'm just going to say this. David and I, who've been together, how many years, David?
It will be 40 years in June.
We were completely incompatible, energetic wise, or in every which way. It really took us time. We started working on energy to be able to deal with that disparity. But we had the very same thing. I really had decided I was going to leave him because it just wasn't working. And it appeared that David had the power and I didn't. And but we started doing the energy exercises. And in fact, we've written a book called Energies of Love that deals with all of these ways of helping your energy get on the same wavelength again. My own suggestion is that I would start doing the exercises that you have learned in this class a lot. Build up some habits so that your own energy field gets stronger and stronger, and you aren't taking on your partners, and your partner can't throw you off, and you just get more. You might get more independent, by the way. It's actually getting more independent can actually make you jive with your partner better. So I hope you do that. I hope you do the exercises so that you feel stronger and more independent, and his energy can't throw you off.
Yes, and also you didn't say whether he or not he was open to energy work, but one of the things that we do every day is we work on each other,
Yeah.
and it not only gets my energy into a flow and Donna's energy into a flow, it brings our energies together. It's like becomes a way of attuning to one another. So as you talk about his, you're not sure if his energies are getting worse, or yours are getting better, but there's more and more distance. If you do a spinal flush, if you just work the points on either side of his spine, if you do the crown pull for him and just work that,
Cross energies.
if you do the energy crossover, if you
really pull from his back, putting your hand on the shoulder right across from you, and just dig your fingers in and drag it across his body to the opposite hip, and then the other way. If he's open, you might find that is a way that you start becoming more compatible. And if you have different values than each other, well, then your job is to get stronger and stronger so that you do have the willpower to lead.
but we don't have any idea about what's going on
Yes,
in your
it's
relationship.
ours.
But I think the most important message we have for you is that it there are so many ways that couples are incompatible in terms of difficulties with communication, that if you get your energies into harmony with one another, those incompatibilities drop away. You realize that, oh, okay, there's a bridge here, an energetic bridge, and we can, from that bridge, that energetic bridge, we can find the ways to communicate.
Yes.
And you might want to look at that book, Energies of Love. That's what it's all about.
But you are also learning in this class those same tools that you will find in that book. It's more the focus of the couple.
Mhm.
Okay? All right, let's see. What have we got next? Okay, this is from artists. Do children have more energy than adults? Well, you know, generally, children have a lot of energy. Their energies haven't been thrown off or distorted by the world so much as happens to adults.
And they're very resilient
And
as
they're,
well.
yes, very resilient. So generally that's true, but you will always find children who have who don't have a lot of energy, and you can begin to build that energy for them. You can teach them these exercises. I mean, it's so good for children. Often when children go to school, they start losing energy, by the way, if they are having trouble learning, or feeling overwhelmed by the adults or other kids in the school. I mean, children take to these exercises so beautifully, and it helps them so much, and it helps them learn. It helps them learn. So if you start finding that children are losing their energy, they really need to have these tools. I would like all children to have these tools as a part of their education.
And of course, some adults are able to really keep their energies very strong,
Yes.
and that's part of why we're in the work we're in, is to teach
Yeah.
how to do that. Um, and children, as vibrant and resilient as they are, when they are, in less than ideal circumstances, their energies can really get drawn out. But they are resilient. It comes back. And working with children, really, with energy work, they just respond to it so well that they kind of they're closer to their instincts, so they
Yes.
really know.
I'd like to give an example because it's so recent in our lives. But um, a the child of somebody I know, she was telling she was a recent person in my life, and she was telling me she was scared about her son because he's 7 years old. He was in school. English is his second language. Mexican is his first, but he had really gotten sicker and sicker, and he had asthma, and he couldn't be on any team, and he's 7 years old. He couldn't be on any team in the school because he just didn't have any energy. He could walk very short distances without losing his energy. And so I said, bring him over. Let me see if I can help him. And I just started teaching him simple energy exercises plus figure eights, figure eights, crossing over in front of his body over and over. And I said, just keep doing it all the time. And what I want to tell you is very, very quickly, he began to get his energy back. Now, he had been on asthma medication for about 3 years, and he went off. And the doctor said, my gosh, his oxygen level had really grown in his lungs. And I mean, he has become a really happy little boy, and it's so thrilling, and he feels empowered. He also feels empowered to take himself apart from the classroom and do the exercises if he feels he needs them. But it's just really changed. And his teacher has said, my goodness, what has happened to him? And it's been wonderful. And there is some interest in the teacher learning it at school for the other kids. Could Donna, this is from Teo, I believe is the name, Teo. Could Donna clarify the anti-clockwise direction for healing pain, both on the front of the body, side of the neck, arms, and at the back, Is there any harm if it is the opposite direction accidentally? Okay, first of all, you're not going to harm anybody by doing it the other way. You just won't help as much. But if you can imagine a clock is sitting against your body wherever, on the back, on the neck, wherever you want it, set a clock so that the hands of the clock are facing out. And then how does it how does it go backwards? If the hands are going backwards, that is the anti-clockwise way or the counterclockwise way. Okay, but you won't harm them if you go the other way. You just won't get the result you want. Okay? Okay. Um, this is from Erlene. I do wonder how to test myself on several things and how do I work on my own chakras and aura. I believe you learned how to energy test yourself in this class. Is that correct? See. um, I mean, I don't want to teach it again. If you had it, I believe you had it in these sections. Um, let's see. I wonder how to test myself on several things, and how do I work on my own chakras and aura? Um, I want to say that over time you'll begin to have a feel of the chakras that are weaker in you, and but you can do that counterclockwise. Move very slow. If you're having trouble feeling it, just move very, very slow over each chakra. Now, see, I can feel that very fast, but I would like to say that um, this sensitivity to chakras and auras grows over time. Like I did maybe 3 spins and my hand is picking up the energy. And when you go backwards, you're pulling energy or toxins out of the chakra. Always shake it off, and then going clockwise smooths things out.
It stabilizes. So the counterclockwise is pulling energies out and pulling energies that are disorganized out. And so you want to get that out. But whenever you pull energy out, what's good about that is that vacuums fill themselves. Fresh energy comes in. So,
Yeah.
and then when you go in the clockwise direction, what you're doing is you're stabilizing the gains. And for the aura, the Celtic weave is one that you can do on your own completely. But also, when it's nice to be able to do a chakra clearing with somebody else. And one thing that we really encourage people to do is to find an energy partner, somebody to work with, and just exchange the the session with one another. So you do the person, you give a session
Yeah.
to the person, then they give it to you, just exactly the way it was taught in the class, and they'll appreciate it. Even they don't have to have been through the class. You've learned enough now to teach it to them or to play the relevant parts of the video for them to so you watch it together and really it's a great thing to have an energy partner, whether it's your spouse or someone that you work with or a neighbor. It really is a great thing to add to your life.
Uh, and on the other hand, um, the Celtic weave, yes, is a great thing to do on the aura, but you can also, you know, with your hands, let me see if I can get close. With your hands, you can figure eight it like that. You can figure eight on the sides of your body. Just make a figure eight on the side of your body. You can figure eight far out into the aura. You can do it with both hands. You can sideways it. You can do anything you can that ends up making figure eights. And those figure eights also then the aura begins to feed the chakras as well. I am not sure if you have had taking down the flame. I will just go over it with you because it's so good for the chakras, and it's a way to work on your chakras all by yourself and helps the relationship between the chakras and the communication, makes the energy flow between them. So I'm just gonna talk everybody through it. Okay, you rub your hands together and shake them off. And put your hands on your thighs and take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now you're going to swing your arms above your head. Okay, let's see. Above your head. And then as you let your breath out, bring your thumbs to the top of your head, right on the top of your crown chakra. Now, very slowly, take a deep breath in. And as you let your breath out, come down to the third eye. Take a deep breath in, and you're going to skip your throat chakra and come down to your heart chakra. Take a deep breath in and come down and put your thumbs into your belly button and triangle your fingers on your second chakra. Now take a deep breath in and flatten your hands right on your second chakra. And as you let your breath out, smooth your hands all the way down your legs. You can bend over and smooth them all the way down your legs and off your feet. And one great thing to do as you come back up, you can fluff your aura as you come back up. Just fluff it all the way up. Roll that energy all the way up your body. Okay? This is from Marika. Marika says, I don't feel any different after doing these energy clearing sessions. Is it possible I'm doing them wrong? Marika, first thing I want to do is suggest, often if people feel that nothing is happening, their energies are very homolateral. So that you want to make sure before you do the exercises to make sure you have really pulled the energy across your shoulders to the opposite hip and do it several times. Um, and the longer version of doing the homolateral is to lift your legs and hit your hand to the same side of your body. Okay? The right hand hits the right knee, the left hand hits the left knee, and do that, 10 or 12 times, and then cross the energy over to the opposite side of the body with your hands to the opposite knee. And do that several times and go back and forth several times before you do the exercises. Now, I would also say to do the exercises slower. If you're doing them too fast, sometimes your energy can't catch up with you. So my suggestion is, I do not feel you're probably not doing anything wrong. Probably you're not doing anything wrong, except maybe you want to do the homolateral exercises first.
And the homolateral exercise is a really important one. She just went over it very quickly, but it's taught in the class, and so you might want to do that. But there's other possibilities, such as some people are more kinesthetic and they feel everything that's going on in their body very clearly, while others are more intellectual, more in their head, and they don't register the changes, even if there are changes in the energy flow. So it's also, there's a learning process where over time you get more sensitized to the way
Yes.
that the energies, you learn to recognize where they're blocked, when they're blocked. You learn to recognize when something is helping them to flow. So it could be that there's a homolateral pattern that needs correction, but it also can be just a learning process.
Yes. And I just really want you to know that if you're doing the exercises, you're doing something right for your body. You really are. And as David says, it for some people it might register quickly. For others, it might register more slowly. But and I'm going to bring to mind somebody, one of our favorite teachers for many, many years. Not for many, many years. Many, many years ago, she could not get out of homolateral, and so she couldn't feel anything. And so I just gave her the homework assignment of doing it over and over and over until she could feel a difference in the exercises. At least one or two, she could say, "Oh, making a difference. And I want you to know that it took her time before she began to feel. But she's one of our best teachers now. And I often think that great teachers come from the fact that it didn't come easy. They had to learn it. They had to really learn it and learn it on their own body. So I'd give myself a break and just, believe that you're gonna get it. Okay.
So there are certain basics. One is that the energies need to be crossing over, not homolateral. And another is that the energies aren't going backwards. So that's K27, really rubbing K27. And those are two, like our practitioners are taught that you start there. You make sure that the energies are going in the direction they're meant to be going, and you make sure the person is not homolateral before you do much else.
Okay. And one more question here. This is from Lily. How long should we do energy work for our chakras for the clearing? And how do I know that they are all clear and hook up well by myself when a partner isn't available? First of all, I want to tell you, you can't do too few, you can't do too many, because you're going to get different results. If you're, and so you should not even worry about that. It's like however many chakras you clear, or how much you do it, you are helping that energy body in every level of the chakras. The more you do, the more it will help you. But when you do just a few, you are affecting your chakras. And for some people, it's better to do just a few, and then balance it out, and then so you don't have to worry about how many to do. It becomes clearer and clearer as time goes on, that, like, for myself, I'm going to use myself as an example. Say I'm just wanting to clear them, but I see what unless I feel like I'm really stressed out, I won't do a lot. I will just do, I don't know, maybe the length of 4 or 5 deep breaths in each direction. And then I will know that I've cleared maybe 1 or 2 levels. Now, if I'm really stressed out, I'll do more. But I'm not, I just really want to make it easy on myself. And I just want to get in coherence with my own energies. And every time I clear the chakras, whatever incoherence I have in my energies become more incoherence. It's like I really feel that this energy work is like meditation for the energy fields. Oh, from Suzanne, how can I become more aware of all the energy patterns? What is the best practice for me to increase my awareness? Okay. I really believe the best thing you can do is to do the daily energy routine at least a couple of times a day, and until it becomes a habit and your body begins to feel better and better and better. And then you become more aware. It's like out of the blue, you'll have an awareness that, oh, I need to hook up. And you know it. It's just the more you do it, your body becomes more familiar. You get on the same wavelengths with the energy that is so intelligent. It is so amazingly intelligent inside of you. And when you yourself as a physical being begin to resonate with that energy more, you become more and more aware. And it happens without you trying or without your efforting, except for the effort of doing the daily energy routine.
It's like any relationship.
Yeah.
You have a relationship with other people, you have a relationship with your body. The more you are attending to your body, the more you're focusing your awareness on what's going on in your body, the deeper that relationship becomes. Now, the relationship with your energies is a more subtle relationship, but it's also one that attending to it, listening for what your energies are telling you, listening to how they're flowing, is a way of cultivating that language, cultivating um, your ability to converse with your body's energies.
Okay. Now, forgive me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I think that's Hyson, Hyson. I think so. So, would the energy field of the tester affect the result of energy tests? That's such an excellent question. Thank you for it. One of the things that we teach people to do is to, first of all, be clear yourself before you energy test. You know, just even if it's just to blow your own energy out, or to or to cross your energy over so that it's make sure that your own energy is really crossing over well. Some people like to even do the daily energy routine before testing anybody else because you can affect. And what you want to do is learn to not affect them, not affect the energy test at all. Because if you believe that the energy test will have an outcome, you affect the outcome. It's like the mind affects energy tests, and you want to get to the place that your mind does not affect the energy test.
Yeah, and there's a number of more advanced ways that you can really keep your mind out of the way and that you can help the energy test to be more accurate. Because as we said in the class, it's an art as well as science. And the research on energy testing is very mixed. It's um, not clear, but the reason is that there's so many variables that aren't controlled for in many of the research studies. But one of the things that you can do that makes it easier to get your mind out of the way is that right before you do the test, you and the person you're testing take a deep breath together.
Yes.
Then say hold and do the test. That's one way. Another is that by there's points right in the back of the head, right where the head is meets the neck at the top of the neck, and about half an inch out from the middle on either side. If you hold your fingers there, that also gets the mind out of the way. So
Yes.
you can be holding that, and I can test Donna with
I see it.
that way. Yeah,
Test.
yeah, gents. Yeah, so those are two of the simple ways. Another is that you're going into this with the intention of finding out the truth of the situation. Because if you um, go into it with an expectation, as Donna was saying, or a hope of how it will be. So Donna, I think I joked in the class that Donna, in our 39 years together, has never tested weak on a Dairy Queen. As if you want it, you'll get it. But if your intention is to really be very present with the truth of the situation, and you have already centered yourself, and you're gonna it's gonna really increase the chances of a accurate test, and then you practice. That's the main way, is you really practice it until you know that it's reliable. Another little hint is I think we said it in the class, but you don't look at one another when you're doing the test, or you start to you start to test the relationship rather than what you're wanting to test.
Okay, this is from Joan. Can you clear your energy without preparing yourself through breathing? For instance, waiting for a traffic jam. You absolutely can. I used to do that at traffic jams myself, or it's like, I mean, I would start doing K27, or I just maybe tap my cheekbones or something to get the energy. Like sometimes when you're driving too much, you're not very grounded, um, and if you tap on the cheekbones, the energy goes down your legs. You can you really you can just cross your hands over the front of your body. Um, you can
But
hook up.
you're asking. Go ahead. You can hook up.
You can hook up.
Yeah, all these things are very simple. They can be done
Simple, simple,
so
simple.
quickly. But also, you asked about breathing. Just simply breathing in through the nose. Do it now, and out through the mouth. And notice how your tongue does automatically go where Donna says, to the
Yeah.
top on the in-breath and to the
Yes.
bottom when you go out your mouth. And that is keeping that microcosmic orbit in a flow.
I'm going to tell you another trick on breathing. Um, Say you're stressed out and you really need to clear yourself. Um, if you just take a quick breath in, not even too deep, and just breathe out much slower, just
Through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth again.
so the
Different.
breathing out is much longer, and then you release carbon dioxide and you release a lot of stress buildup just by letting go. I had asthma one time in my life, and that was one of the first things I learned to do for myself, because there's a tendency to want to take a deep breath when you breathe in. You want to catch your breath. Well, it's counterintuitive, but it works. Instead of catching my breath, I would just let the breath go and breathe out as slow as I could. And then there, as David said, you create a vacuum, and I would get more oxygen. Okay, um, from Veronica. Is it okay to work on the aura on a daily basis? Specifically, the butterfly and Celtic weave. Absolutely. Work on it on a daily basis. It'll be very, very good for you, and you'll build up habits.
Yeah, the question also often comes up is how often should I do these exercises and how long should I do them? And it really varies from person to person. And what you will find is that, don't use the word habits, because energy does go in habits. So when you do something daily or twice a day, you begin to establish that habit. So if you're doing the zip up regularly, it helps central meridian flow in that positive upward motion. And what true for any exercise that you've learned in this class, that it do it more, it develops the habits, but also how long it will last, that also depends, because if your energies are kind of disorganized, then nothing will last as long as it would if you were to um, have done it for a period of time.
All right, from Cindy. Energies can shift so easily, as you demonstrated wearing a shoulder bag, walking forward or backwards. What can be done easily throughout the day to balance? Um, Simple things is you can do a cross crawl, just a cross crawl, which means every time you pick up your leg, hit the opposite knee with your hand, and do it several times a day just to keep that energy crossing over. Um, Again, you can hook up. That helps. For me, I do the Wayne Cook posture. That's really important for me. And over time, you will find what really works for you. What really works for you. The Wayne Cook posture really works for me. So do these tapping points or massaging points.
Yeah, so some of the simplest ones that you can do anytime are the crossover, the zip up, the hook up, and the four thumbs are just such naturals to be able to do with. They take almost no time, no effort, and yet they get your energy really flowing real quickly.
Okay, from Karen, wondering what is the difference between flushing and sedating a meridian? As flushing is so much quicker, why would we sedate rather than flush a meridian? Oh, that's such a great question. They are different. They are different. Flushing is, for instance, many people in our culture, um, or in many cultures, spleen is weak. Spleen is weak. And so it's weak because you're not metabolizing the toxins. You're not able to digest certain things. The toxins in the culture, in the air around you, your body is not able to metabolize it and move it out. So spleen is a real good example of if you flush it. If you flush it, means go backwards once and forward 3 times. It's like it empties and then brings energy in. But you sedate when, for several reasons. We tend to gather more energy in our bodies and instead of releasing energy. And when you've gathered too much, I mean, we're meant to be bringing energy constantly in and releasing energy constantly. When you have a habit of too much energy in a particular organ or meridian, you want to sedate it because you want to release it. If you've got pain, you want to sedate it. Now, once in a while, flushing will be enough, and you'll know it took the pain away. But it's like a real, a much more serious thing to sedate. It really releases energy, and wherever you've got pain, you've got too much energy, so you want to sedate it.
Right, because it's true. The basis of your question is, does sedating and flushing do the same thing? They do have the same effect of clearing out the blocks, of clearing out energy that is stale or stagnant. But and flushing it is satisfying. It's fast, you feel it. Whereas sedating it takes longer, as you said, but sedating goes deeper. It's just a more powerful way to do the same, to have the same result, but more powerfully.
Okay, if you are wearing a watch and have electronics with you, does it affect the energy while doing the exercises? Another excellent question. And first of all, different people are more affected than others. Yes, that's just the truth. We are affected differently. Our energy is as unique as a thumbprint. Um, but and over time, it would be really good to really learn these exercises so that you can do them on your own, away from electronic equipment. But here's another truth. Over time, if you do these exercises, you will be more immune to the electronics bothering you. I mean, it will really help you. There was a time that, for instance, my daughter could not be in front of the computer very long. It blew her circuits out, and she just she could not do email. And she could not be, well, she couldn't be on it for very long at all. And now she can be on it for much longer periods of time. In fact, she's writing a book on on the computer, which she could have never done a while ago. And so she has built up an immunity. She has built up habits here. And for some people, I mean, I would take my watch out off, but I don't wear a watch at all because I'm much too sensitive to electronics. So I don't wear a watch. And but everybody's different. For some people, they can wear a watch and it just doesn't bother them. Okay.
You have to really find what works for you.
Yes, find what works for you. Stacy, is it possible to experience a kind of detox symptoms as we release energies? Yes, it is possible. There are people who have, uh, been in the energy fields that have been throwing them off for a long time, and when they start to release, it's detoxing. For instance, when you massage your neurolymphatic reflexes, I would suggest don't do them all at once. Do just a few because you are releasing toxins into your bloodstream. So just take care of yourself and find out what is your pace, what is your rhythm to be doing this in, and then over time you can do more. But there was a time when I had multiple sclerosis. I had to go very slowly. If you are working with somebody with an autoimmune illness, you've got to go slow because the body cannot tolerate the shifting of energy too quickly. But eventually it will tolerate it, and your body will get stronger and healthier, and it's just very, very good for your body. But you might also be experiencing some toxins. Yes. Okay. This is from Shirley. Does it matter which hand you use in chakra clearing? You guys are giving me such good questions. Now, I'm going to tell you that the left hand has a tendency to pull out energies more. So the left hand, for a lot of people, they find that they can do it better with their left hand, can go counterclockwise with their left hand better, and then clockwise with their right hand. But I will tell you that your energies will connect up with the chakras as they will. What does that mean? It means that you might feel it feels better to do it with your left hand or feels better to do it with your right hand. Do it the way it feels better. And if you can't tell what feels better, try it with the left hand
Yeah,
doing
so
counterclockwise.
that principle holds for many of the exercises that there's a kind of correct traditional way to do it. And so in chakra clearing, it's the left hand goes counterclockwise, pulling energies out, right hand goes clockwise, stabilizing them. But if that doesn't feel right to you, then that's your body talking to you. That's your energies talking
Yes.
to you. That's their language is feeling. And so if so do it the way that feels right, and that might not be the way that we teach it. And that's your taking your own authority by listening to what your energies are telling you.
Okay, this comes from Bonnie. Do you think your diet has anything to do with a healthy energy field? Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, uh, ener- energy testing your food and your vitamins is can be so important, especially if you aren't sure that your diet is working well for you. Energy test the foods you eat. Energy test your vitamins, how many you take at any one time, and if they can be mixed or not, or whether you can take just one vitamin or two. You know, find out, because these your food, your vitamins become the energy in your body that you can utilize and use. And so it's a very good thing to eat well.
Yes, your food is one of the primary sources of your energy,
Yeah.
and so you want foods that are in harmony, compatible with your body's energy system, and that's often quite different from any formula that anyone has of what a good diet is, because what's good for you is not necessarily going to be good for somebody else, and what's good for you today at 3 o'clock or at 5 o'clock may not be good for you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So that's why we get a little obsessive about it, testing food to just really know what's in harmony with what we're needing right now.
You know, that might sound funny what David just said, that what's good for you at 5 o'clock may not be good for you at another time. But I am so sensitive to food that, I mean, I can't eat eggs in the morning, but I can eat them in the late afternoon or in the evening, anytime after around 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then they start working for me, and that is because, again, every 2 hours your meridians are being juiced and being given energy. But if you're eating something that is not compatible with that meridian, I mean, it'll show up, and it won't feel good. So it's really good to energy test. Let's see what's next. From from Robin. Do you need to work all 7 chakras at a time, or can you work just one at a time? You can work just one at a time. There is no wrong way to do this. No, you might find you have a more complete sense of having completed them all when you do 7. But you can, if you've got we all have vulnerabilities in our chakras, or if you're going through something particularly that really speaks to that chakra, yes, you can work with one chakra at a time. And you might remember when you were a child, if you had a tummy ache, you did a counterclockwise movement right over your tummy, and it helps take your tummy ache
It's
away.
instinctive.
It's instinctive.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, in an actual professional session, there'll be a chakra that really needs a lot of attention, and that's the only one that will be worked on in that session. But it's more common to work on to really balance all of them.
Uh, this this is a question from the audience. I feel very challenged to do energy testing. Are there any study materials I can use to enhance my energy testing skills? I've been doing energy tests with my wife, but it doesn't seem any of my tests work. Oh, all right. First, I'll say that it can't help me, David.
Yeah, well,
Answer.
chapter 2 of the book Energy Medicine, of Donna's book, gives a lot more detail than was possible to give in the class. So so in terms of asking if there's a reference, that's the best thing that we have, until people are actually in our certification program, when we go into much, much more detail about energy testing.
And working with your wife, a lot of people have problems working with their spouse in the beginning because there is a surrogate that happens sometimes with somebody that you're very close to, and you're picking up your own energy, or you're picking up your, there's other energies going on. I would suggest you practice a little bit with somebody outside of your wife. It doesn't mean you can't. You can energy test her, but go to chapter 2 in the book and practice some of the skills we said, and especially take a deep breath in with her, and then breathe out when you energy test. You might start getting some better results. And I will tell you that even with David and I in the beginning, David and I both didn't get good results, but you learn to get good results.
And one of the things you want to do is make sure that you're well grounded before you do the energy test, that you've centered yourself, that maybe you do the daily energy routine, so that you're really individually coming in at your best, and then do a few of the things, such as not looking at one another, holding the back of her neck as you do the test, and also just to and take a deep breath together before you do the test.
Let's see. If both, this is from Stacy, if both Wayne Cook postures are too difficult to get into, is there something else you can suggest? Yes, Stacy. Cross whatever you can on your body. Cross your arms, cross your ankles, cross whatever you can, and do the same breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. You can even cross your hands like this. You don't have to do like that. You can just cross your hands like this. If you can't see them, I've just clasped my fingers together and placed them up underneath my chin. And if you happen to be at a meeting, you can keep those crossed fingers, those clasped fingers under the table, and breathe deeply and cross your ankles. Cross whatever you can. This is from, I can't quite get the name, Talia? You taught us that we should never sedate heart meridian. Is there something else we can do instead? Yes, absolutely. Strengthen small intestine. Strengthen small intestine, and you will not have the result of calming, of slowing the heartbeat down. And by the way, I believe in all of the strengthening and sedating points given to you. We don't give you the sedating points of heart anyway. We just give you this small intestine strengthening. Okay? All right, this is from Kathy. When doing an exercise, such as the Wayne Cook posture, does it matter if you start on the right or left side? No, whichever way feels best to you. And when doing the short version, does it matter if the right hand is over the left or vice versa? No, it doesn't. What feels best for you? Okay?
Right. Yeah, some people will do it both ways, and but what really works the best is the way that feels right.
All right. Question for David. Can you comment on your experience using EFT with clients and how your knowledge and experience with energy medicine plays into it?
Right. Well, it's really an important question because EFT tapping, um, energy psychology, is a branch of energy medicine. Energy medicine is the larger field in the way that same relationship of conventional medicine and psychiatry. You have to go through medical school to be a psychiatrist, but then you spend 4 more years in residencies and really specializing in working with the mind. Now, the relationship of energy medicine to energy psychology is similar. It's different in this sense that um, energy medicine is a much, much, much larger field, much more to learn. You know, we have a 2 year certification program for people, and it's actually 4 years, but 2 years before they can open a practice. Whereas with energy psychology and EFT, you can learn that so quickly. You just learn the points. You can learn it a lot in a online or in a weekend. Now, to get really good at it is a different story because you have to really begin to understand what what you need to focus on to get the results that you want. But there are many areas where energy psychology will not get the results because the person's energies have not, like for instance, with depression, the energies are simply not crossing over. That's just if the energies are not crossing over, it doesn't mean the person is depressed. But if the person is depressed, you know the energies are not crossing over. And you can just tap on issues forever, and it's not going to change that as nearly as easily as if you do it more directly with this technique or with a homolateral crossover. So it's, so if you're a therapist and you understand how the energies are involved in depression, in anxiety, in PTSD, in all the kinds of conditions that people come to a therapist to work with, then you're able to so much more quickly get them to the point where the EFT is going to be the most effective to really work on the specific issues that they have. So it's a very good question. It's a complex relationship, but and a lot more um, energy medicine people now are learning EFT and the other way around. We're having more and more therapists taking energy medicine to really, really increase their skill set in working with the energetic basis of psychological problems.
Yes, yes, David and I were just in France and at an energy psychology conference, and what they wanted to learn was energy medicine there. From Suzanne, since the course, I have improved emotionally and mentally. Yay! I'm calmer, happier, slower to anger. Lovely. But I feel worse physically. Exhaustion sometimes slams me. So I had even so so hard, even doing energy work is a challenge. Will the benefits eventually seep into my physical plane, or am I doing something wrong? No, you're not doing anything wrong. Um, every one of us start at a different place in energy medicine. We start in a different place, and for some people, um, I know you had the lessons of triple warmer in this last section, and triple warmer will sometimes fight change. If you can remember that triple warmer governs habits, and it was to our benefit that we had all of these habits building up in our bodies in evolution, so that we didn't have to think things out every time. But that's now problematic because uh, triple warmer can fight the changes, even very good changes. And so that's what I believe you are experiencing. And I'm so sorry that you're experiencing that. But I will tell you that for myself as well, when I was very sick, and with multiple sclerosis. I really had to trust the process. I had to trust the process because if when I was doing something, um, I don't know, when I'd be doing some shifting of energy, sometimes I would get sick and have to lay down. So I understand this full measure. And yes, eventually, I would suggest to you, by the way, to uh, to do triple warmer exercises. You know, do the smoothie a lot. Do the smoothie maybe before you even do the daily energy routine. And anytime on its own, hold your own neurovasculars maybe once a day so that it can begin to seep in. It will eventually on its own, but you could help. You could help it seep faster.
And one of the things that sometimes happens for people, and I'm not saying it's happening for you because we don't know you, but is that a person is really kind of on overdrive. They're really on
Yeah.
overdrive, really pushing themselves hard and draining their life force. And then they start to do the energy exercises that balance and center them. And they discover their body just kind of takes a breath and slows down, and it's just really enjoying the ability to not be pushing. But your experience then is that you don't have any energy, and it's a kind of a recalibration. The energy will come back, but if the energy and that would also be a reason that you might be in a better mood and be feeling happier is that you are you're not if that's the case that you're not pushing yourself and draining your life force. That feels good, but also the body just needs to rebalance and restabilize.
Do remember spleen meridian, how much it needs to be able to metabolize everything that you're doing so that it physically things will start to shift. Okay. And I just want to say that I am such an example of somebody who has come from such a long ways away from being healthy, and I am so healthy now. And again, that doesn't mean that things can't happen to me still, but I know what to do for myself now, and the habit hasn't grown, so I can squelch it in the bud. You know, any imbalance, any illness, I can handle so much quicker. Okay, all right. Let's see from Michelle. Since so many of us are living longer, more active lives, and pulling excessive stress on, onto our joints, what energy exercises would be best to strengthen our joints to facilitate exercise and activity? That's a very good question. I would say that any of these exercises, just doing the daily energy routine first before anything else you do, and to build that a habit into your body, the energies will begin to flow more and more, and your joints won't take it on. Your joints will begin to release the energy. But things like connecting heaven and earth helps the energies move through the joints. I would suggest also to uh, energy test. Can I say this? Yeah, just energy test. I am not prescribing this, but energy test chondroitin, MSM, and what's the other one? Chondroitin, MSM, and I forgot the last one. There are three that they usually come together, but they really help the energy just move. If you find that you've got knee problems or anything like that, sedate or or your upper thighs, the energy can get stuck up in there, and then it gets stuck in your knees. Sedate small intestine meridian. That will often really help.
So that also brings up another issue, which is that Donna really encourages people to find out what vitamins and herbs are going to be helpful for you, and you can do that with energy testing. And we also tell you not to energy test medications because medications are a whole different thing. And sometimes, for instance, a medication will test weak because it has side effects, but it might be a medication you really need. And so what we do is to help the body to adjust to that medication so it doesn't get the side effects. But please do not, particularly at the level that of this class, do not test medication.
Okay, now this will be the last question for this session. And so this is from Jerry. Is it necessary to trace the meridians at the specific times, and is it fine to keep repeating the same meridian if there is trouble there? Oh, good question. I will say a couple of different things. One is I do think it's best to trace from the time of day that the energy is coming in. However, you will not harm yourself if you started at other times. You won't. You just get a faster results if you trace it from the time that the energy is coming in. Um, and if you've got an issue with one of the meridians or an organ, can you just repeat that meridian several times? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And you can do just one meridian. You don't have to, you can do a few meridians, but it's very good to do them all together just to keep them going. But
yeah, absolutely. If it feels good to do it several times, do it several
yes,
times. You also might want to flush it. Go backwards on it once and then go forward several times. So
yes.
that's a really important question.
You know, this has been a pleasure, a true pleasure to hear your questions. I mean, they are very smart questions. That's what I want you to know. I'm going, wow, these are very sophisticated questions. So I appreciate them very much. And I hope that as usually happens, is that even though the question came in with one person, other people needed that question answered. So I hope that that's what happened today.
And so next week we'll be here at the same
Yes.
time, and at that point you'll have had Class 8 and completed the entire course. So we're looking forward to seeing you next week.
So have a wonderful week, and may the energies really support you this week. Blessings.
Take care.